In your opinion and experience, would you say that substance abuse is common in amateur sports?
Yeah, in my own experience, quite common, but I think a lot of that depends on the area in which you play.
So you found that different areas have more.
Yeah, certain areas, particularly in the northwest of England, Wigan, Leigh, for example, it's more readily available. I know a lot of lads in that area tend to take it more than the perhaps down south, but I've never played rugby down there, so I wouldn't.
Do you think that's because maybe it's more competitive in the northern areas of England generally?
I'm not sure really. It's probably a mix of different things. I think there's a bit more pressure in those particular areas to take substances, not just for performance, but also to look good, aesthetics as well. Sort of a bodybuilding culture.
So what would you say is the main reason behind the doping then? Do you think it's performance based, or do you think it is a mix?
In my own experience, it is a mix. I mean, I know a lot of players that have taken performance enhancing drugs to improve their rugby performance, but also a lot of rugby players that just want to look good on the beach. So,
have you found that they may feel in a way pressured because other players in the team are doing it and they don't want to be, say, left behind or not look as good? Or
yeah, definitely. I think that's definitely got something to do with it. If there's a lot of players, even at an amateur level, taking substances that are quite easily or they're quite effective for them, then why not just have a dabble yourself? You know.
Do you think age matters? Have you noticed any patterns in differences in ages of users? Would you liken it to maybe 18 to 25 rather than players that are over 25?
Probably a younger, that bracket 18 to 25, probably more so. You know, you're starting to really compete for, if you want to step into a professional level, you start as an 18-year-old, and then maybe when you're in your 20s you just want to look good and make the gym a little bit easier for you.
So you think that they want to be in the professional level so much that they're willing to take the risk to use the drugs?
Yeah, I think that's certainly part of it. I mean, I can remember growing up as a 16, 17-year-old, and there were some players who play now professional level, and they were dabbling in drugs and performing enhancing drugs. Whether that had it obviously did have an effect on their career move, whereas a lot of me and a lot of others tend to stay away, and we didn't step into that grade.
Do you think there should be more testing in amateur sports for the drugs?
I think there should be a bit more education rather than testing it. Not because from an amateur point of view, a lot of the drugs are just to look good or to tone up or to look good on the beach, as opposed to trying to compete at a professional level.
So do you think there's other areas of the sport that may need investing before tackling these drugs, as they're not a big enough problem yet?
Yeah, I don't think they're a big problem. Perhaps for the elite level, then they need to address that. But the amateur level, then let's just educate on these young players on a healthy dose of, maybe if they're gonna do it healthily, do it safe, as opposed to that's the end of that.
Yeah. So rugby ranks quite highly on a recent survey by the BBC for drug use. How do you think that reflects on the sport at an amateur level?
I think it obviously reflects quite badly, because it's not a good thing for the sport to have in general. But I think it's to be expected. With the game itself is getting a lot more physical. Players need to be bigger, stronger, faster. So the pressure for young players is certainly there to do that.
So you think the pressure and demands of the game at the moment are edging people towards looking for that extra edge?
Yeah. The game is getting in a way where you want bigger players, you want heavier players, as opposed to let's change the game slightly and just play rugby a little bit more, which is, you know, you look at like the Wales team a couple of years ago, they had the biggest team by far. Compare that to like a Southern Hemisphere side, who the emphasis is on a different side of the game. It just puts a different pressure on the players.
So do you think coaching could maybe impact the use of drugs? Whether the dynamic changes in coaching for the focus to try and shift it away from...
I think so. I think the focus of the game should be more on rugby, running as a running game, as opposed to a big impact sort of game. Obviously, if there's a lot of collisions, you're going to want bigger
So
players.
a focus more on the game rather than the individuals
Yeah,
being
yeah,
able to reach the
yeah.
levels.
So if you want smaller, faster, agile, more players, the emphasis less so on big steroid, muscle-bound freaks, you know.
All right, thank you very much.